Hello everyone and welcome back to Jiesan Audiobook. If you're new here, I'm your host and I bring stories, especially lit RPG and progression fantasy, to life. In today's episode, we're diving deep into a chaotic fight where a chaos badger does what she does best. Before we jump in, let me know in the comments, what's the most ridiculous battle strategy you've ever seen in a novel? Let's get started. Chapter 1604 with all the demons. Elder Forsham turned to Dana as Kara flew off with the boss in the middle of a fight. That was horrific. Dana shrugged. She's like that, you get used to it. If she keeps it up, I suspect that the Wrath demons will reconsider kilts as a fashion statement. I've never seen anyone brave enough to try to use their testicles as a punching bag before though, Forsham added. You know how they call the species a chaos badger? I think that she took it as a personal challenge. If you don't specifically tell her not to do dumb stuff, she will do whatever she thinks will be the most fun. And if it's just her siblings and Carl, she doesn't see any reason to hold back. However, this might be enlightening. The Oathbreaker demons spread damage with every hit. Now that she's pulled a full quarter of the dungeon and a second boss to the same location, the amount of area damage between them, Hawk and Remy, is going to be absolutely insane. Ah, there, see? Opal has put her illusionary domain in place to summon more Naga guardians to defend the area, and the enraged demons of a dungeon instance aren't coherent enough to realize that they're being baited by realistic illusions. In the dungeon, Kara was laughing hysterically as she flitted around the boss, spinning him in circles as he raged. And for our next trick I will perform a vanishing act, Kara joked. Opal giggled as she cast invisibility on her sister, leaving the boss raging without a visible target to engage. He was still taking damage and he didn't understand why, but he was not happy about the situation. Then he realized that he had backup, and the two Wrath demons went for the next best target. The massive dragons. If anything was responsible for messing up their day, it was almost certainly the fault of a dragon. Who else would dare? With the two bosses under control, everyone else focused on area damage, while Carl and Leo focused on trying to keep the defensive barriers up. It was taking both Bulwark and Eternal Lightning to keep the damage taken under control. Or at a level that Tian and Remy could compensate for. While the entire group had an insane regeneration rate, you weren't intended to pull 60 bosses at a time. Carl had gone entirely to defensive casting to support Opal's illusions. Tribulation Chains held most of the mobs in place while Oathbreaker went wild on them, aiming for the least armored targets to maximize the damage spread by its skills. The haze of fire, ice, and poison fog was so thick that the spectators could barely see what was going on. The best that they could do was use their system interface to watch the health meters of the creatures steadily declining as elemental storms raged, lightning crackled in the sky, and meteors fell from the heavens onto the fight. It really does look like the end of the world, clan leader Nerissa noted as she watched the spectacle in the dungeon. Ironic, considering that both the fire and ice are different versions of the apocalypse spell, which includes the elemental vortex tornadoes and the majority of the meteors. That dark flame that Hawk is using looks like it's exceptionally effective on a large group. It's terrible to try to put out and it burns the soul, Dana noted. How are they staying alive? Elder Forsham asked, unable to comprehend how so many boss-level monsters hadn't simply crushed the group. Carl has something like 80% damage reduction. I don't know if the system caps it, but I suspect that he's at the cap when fully buffed. That spreads to all his constructs and beasts. With their regeneration rate being higher than Trollish regeneration, it's not that they're not taking damage, it's just that they've got most of the monsters locked down fighting illusions, while they recover nearly as fast as the ones fighting can deal damage. Ah, I see how it is now. As insane as it is, it at least makes logical sense. Clan leader Nerissa chuckled grimly and shook her head. I would suggest not using the L word for anything related to an avatar of the world dragon and a chaos badger working together. You might as well just throw a cleric of the laughing god in as their healer and blow it all to hell. Dana shuddered at the thought. Don't suggest that, Carl's already fond of them, we'll just stick with trying to promote green dragons as the group's healers. The clan leader smiled at her. Good option, they fit the vibes, but how did you end up with him? Dana shrugged. Sometimes I wonder the same thing, but we started school together right after we got our class. We've kind of been inseparable ever since. We work well together, and I was one of the few who could keep up with his growth rate without being scared off by Ray. She's surprisingly protective. Really, she doesn't seem the sort, Elder Forsham noted. She used to cocoon the teachers for trying to wake me up in the morning. The two older immortals laughed. I can only imagine how terrified the teacher would have been to be attacked by Ray after entering a room to wake a student. Dana laughed. Ray is remarkably reserved most of the time. She definitely enjoys killing, but she's not indiscriminately bloodthirsty. In fact, she's actually quite discerning about whose blood she spills. But when she was little, she used to hate waking up during the day and lived on coffee if she had to. Elder Forsham frowned. Don't spiders get drunk on caffeine? So many things made more sense now. Dana knew that a simple cup of coffee wasn't enough to put an early morning grumpy Ray into that good of a mood after standing watch all night. But if you equated that coffee to a mug of ale, suddenly it made more sense that she didn't mind staying up late. Analysis of Chapter 1604. 1. Narrative function, the spectator POV. The chapter cleverly uses Elder Forsham and clan leader Nerissa as audience surrogates. Their horrified reactions and questions allow the author to explain the chaotic battle without slowing down the action. Forsham's comment about testicles as a punching bag serves as dark comedy, while Nerissa's observation about the fight looking like the end of the world reinforces the scale of what Carl's group is accomplishing. 2. Character insights through dialogue. Dana functions as the group's interpreter. Her line, "If you don't specifically tell her not to do dumb stuff, she will do whatever she thinks will be the most fun," perfectly encapsulates Kara's chaotic nature. The Ray anecdote is the chapter's emotional core. The reveal that coffee affects spiders like alcohol and that young Ray would cocoon teachers for waking Dana achieves multiple goals. It explains Ray's grumpy morning behavior. It demonstrates her fierce protectiveness of Dana. It humanizes a terrifying monster through a relatable quirk. 3. Strategic exposition. Dana's breakdown of the fight mechanics serves essential world building. Carl's 80% damage reduction spreading to constructs. Opal's illusionary domain, used for tactical baiting. The combo of tribulation chains, with Oathbreaker's damage spread mechanic. How regeneration outpaces incoming damage despite pulling 60 bosses. Educational value. 1. Writing technique, show don't tell via reaction. Rather than describing Kara as chaotic, the chapter shows her nature through Forsham's disturbed observations and Dana's weary acceptance. This is more effective than direct characterization. 2. Dialogue as exposition. The conversation format delivers complex system mechanics naturally. Forsham's confusion mirrors the reader, making Dana's explanations feel earned rather than like an info dump. 3. Building character history. The coffee anecdote demonstrates how small details can create emotional depth. A single paragraph about Ray's past explains her present behavior while adding humor and heart. 4. Team dynamics lesson. The chapter illustrates that effective teams need a tank Carl, crowd control Opal's illusions, damage dealers Hawk Remy, a disruptor Kara's chaos, a strategist Dana who understands how all pieces fit. Thanks for listening through to the end, everyone. You're the reason Jiesan Audiobook keeps growing. A special thank you to the Patreons and channel members who support this work. You guys are legends. If you want early access or bonus content, check the link in the description. Otherwise, I'll be back very soon with more. Stay awesome and happy listening.